Welcome to Epoch Myst, where history hides its greatest mysteries. In a quiet, forgotten corner of a monastery in Italy, a man opened a chest that hadn't been touched for centuries. Inside, wrapped in age and silence, was a book that should not exist. Its pages showed plants no one had ever seen, stars arranged in impossible patterns, and a script that looked like language, but wasn't. Over 100 years later, the world's best minds have tried to read it. They all failed. Not partially, not close, completely. So the question remains, what kind of book can survive centuries and still refuse to be understood? The man who found it was Wilfred Voynich, a dealer in rare and forgotten texts known for uncovering pieces of history others had missed. In 1912, he acquired the manuscript from a Jesuit college near Rome. At first glance, it appeared medieval. The parchment, rough and aged, carried the unmistakable weight of time. But the moment Voynich began turning its pages, something felt wrong. Nothing inside resembled any known book. There were no recognizable letters, no familiar words, no translation notes in the margins, just page after page of floating, looping symbols. It looked deliberate, structured, almost elegant, but completely alien. As scholars began to examine it, the mystery deepened. The manuscript wasn't chaotic. In fact, it followed patterns, clear ones, certain symbols repeated in specific positions. Some words appeared frequently, others rarely. This is exactly what real languages do, which meant one thing. This wasn't random scribbling. Someone had written this carefully. But why? When the manuscript was carbon dated centuries later, the results were unexpected. The parchment dated back to the early 15th century, around 1404 to 1438. This wasn't a modern forgery. It was genuinely old, which means somewhere in medieval Europe, someone spent years creating a book that no one could read. And they did it with extraordinary consistency. Every page maintained the same style, the same rules, the same strange logic. This wasn't madness. It was method. But the illustrations, they told a different story. Sections of the manuscript appear divided by theme. Botanical pages filled with unknown plants. Astronomical diagrams arranged in circular patterns. And then, the most unsettling section, figures that resemble people, floating, connected by tubes. Over time, the manuscript attracted some of the brightest minds in the world. Cryptographers, linguists, historians. Even codebreakers from World War II were brought in. These were people who had cracked enemy ciphers under pressure, codes designed specifically to be unbreakable. But the Voynich manuscript was different. There was no entry point, no key, no anchor, no way to even begin. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle without knowing what the finished picture looks like, or worse, without knowing if there is a picture at all. Even modern artificial intelligence has taken its turn. Algorithms trained on thousands of languages, ancient and modern. Pattern recognition systems, statistical models, all searching for meaning, but every attempt leads to the same conclusion. There is structure, but no translation. It's like staring at a lock that clearly has a mechanism, but no keyhole. So, what is it? One theory suggests the manuscript is a cipher, a highly advanced encryption system hiding real information beneath layers of transformation. If true, it would be one of the most complex codes ever created. But that raises a problem. Why would someone in the 1400s create a cipher so advanced that even modern technology cannot break it? And more importantly, what was worth hiding so deeply? Another theory claims it's a hoax, a carefully crafted illusion meant to deceive, perhaps created to be sold as something valuable. But hoaxes usually have shortcuts, inconsistencies, errors, repetition. The Voynich Manuscript has none. Its patterns are too consistent, too disciplined. If it is a hoax, it's one that required years of meticulous effort for a payout that remains unclear. Some researchers believe it represents a lost language, a real system of communication that simply vanished. No surviving speakers, no related texts. If that's the case, this manuscript may be the last echo of an entire culture, a voice from the past, speaking into silence. And then there are the more unsettling ideas that the manuscript reflects a mind operating outside conventional thought. Not nonsense, but a different logic entirely. Or that it encodes knowledge not meant for everyone, not meant for us. Today, the Voynich Manuscript is examined endlessly, and yet it still remains silent. Researchers continue to test new ideas. Some claim partial breakthroughs, patterns that resemble known languages, but none have held up under scrutiny. The mystery remains intact, unchanged, untouched. And perhaps that's what makes it so powerful. In an age where information is instant, where nearly everything can be explained, decoded, or understood, this book refuses. It resists clarity. It denies interpretation. It simply exists. A manuscript written over 600 years ago, still speaking in a voice no one can hear. A book filled with meaning, or none at all. Every page invites understanding, and every page denies it. Maybe the answer is hidden in plain sight, or maybe there was never anything to find. Because some mysteries were never meant to be solved. If you've followed this mystery to the end, you're already part of the search. What do you think? Is the Voynich Manuscript hiding something real, or is the mystery itself the point? Let me know your theory. And if you want to uncover more stories like this, subscribe to Epoch Myst